Hi, my name is Dean Barrett. I'm a writer living in Thailand, and you're very welcome to be here. I'm going to talk to you tonight about just a slightly different format because this is the man they called 8-Ball. It's about a pool hall, and I got the idea into my head for this poem because I used to shoot a lot of pool with Thai bar girls, and they usually beat me. But nevertheless, I don't know why, but I remember thinking one dark night, what if a tragedy happened in one of these pool halls where something happened and it was just, you know how writers, you start to get an idea and almost you get an image in your head and you don't know why it's coming, and that's the way it works. So the man they called 8-Ball, and it's brilliantly illustrated by a Thai illustrator, did a fantastic job. So it's a little different format for us, but I hope you'll enjoy it. And as the bar girls would always say, including in the pool hall, I know la UGI, you number one.
It was down in Bixin Bay, just outside of Santa Fe, and it happened in the early fall. Or it might have been the spring, but the man of whom I sing was a legend in every billiard hall. Every Friday night at 10 you would see him there again, shooting pool at a table in the back. All his clothes were thin and torn, and his shoes were old and worn, and his cue stick was taken off the rack. Any table he could run, but he would only play for fun, and he would speak in his friendly southern drawl. We'll play any game you choose, but you know I never lose. He was the man they called 8-Ball. It had just begun to pour when a man came in the door, and his eyes were shielded from the light. As a fury gripped his face, he unzipped his cue-stick case, and I knew this would be a special night. It grew still as he passed by. A strange look was in his eye. It was clear that the man was filled with hate. With his cue-stick in his hand, Balabushka was his brand. He was known as the best stick in the state. He strode right across the room like a harbinger of doom, and he stopped at a table in the back, where a man whose clothes were torn and whose shoes were old and worn made his shots with a cue-stick off the rack. He said, 8-Ball, now at last we will settle up our past. After so many years, again we meet. If you're all the man they say and you're man enough to play, then tonight you will have your first defeat. 8-Ball smiled and scratched his head. To the man he calmly said, if I saw your face I don't recall, but we'll play the game your way. May the best man win today. And the news of the match spread through the hall. Well, they named a handsome stake, and the stranger won the break, and they played then as other men make war. By the time the games were done, 49-51, morning sunlight was streaking in the door. 8-Ball poured himself a drink and said, son, I used to think that no man could beat me at this game. Something's odd about your play, but you humbled me today. I'd be honored if I could know your name. Then the man said with a sigh, looking 8-Ball in the eye, it was you who once taught me all I know. Nothing's odd about my play, it's like yours in every way. I'm the son you left many years ago. Then the man pulled out a gun and said, thanks to what you've done, mother passed her last years as a whore. I have dreamed 1,000 nights that I'd have you in my sights. Now at last I can even up the score. And without another word, an explosive sound was heard, and the bullet lodged deep in 8-Ball's chest. No one dared to interfere, but as smoke began to clear, 8-Ball mustered the strength he still possessed. 8-Ball knew his life was through, but said, son, it isn't true. I was out when she took you away. Leaving you was not my plan. She had found another man. I have prayed that I'd find you both one day. As his death was coming fast, 8-Ball spoke these words his last. He said, now all my playing time is done. You love anyone you choose, just make sure you never lose. And he died with his arms around his son. Any table he could run, but he would only play for fun, and he would speak in his friendly southern drawl. We'll play any game you choose, but you know I never lose. He was the man they called 8-Ball. He was the man they called 8-Ball.